Let's go into the Rodney Terry discussion, though, right? Because we've been teasing this all episode.
How big of an opportunity they have tomorrow night at Kansas. But RC, I mean,
give him the job, man. Stop playing. Let's get this over with. Like, let's call it what it is. Get a man the job. Like, you can't tell me, seriously, guys. And you know, Rob, I've been screaming this from the beginning. It is not even just winning that game. It's just been this team hasn't missed a beat. And how many teams can deal with the distraction? I was sold with how they handled the distraction of the whole Chris Beard thing from the get-go. And this team came out outside of struggling that very night. They've done nothing but win. Now they're sitting here, 19-4. I mean, they're going to go, they're going to play Kansas. Not many people are going to go in there and win. That doesn't change my opinion at all. I don't know what they're waiting for. I think he's deserved the job. I think he's earned it. Not just because you can say, hey, Chris Beard's talent, whatever it is. He has head coaching experience, and he has done a hell of a job with that group, with the distractions. And tell me how many teams or how many coaches could have kept the team together with that type of embarrassment and everything that those kids had to go through.
Not many, man. It's the interim coaches are like substitute teachers, right?
Yep.
It is hard to kind of keep everybody involved. I'm going to preface this by saying that I 100% agree with you, RC. Like, I think that he should get the job. I want him to get the job. I would love to see him get the job. I think that it's only right to reward him, especially if the season continues the way that it's been going, right? Even like he doesn't have to win the Big 12 to be able to get it, right? Just don't lose the last 8 games, you know what I'm saying? But the reason you ask, why wouldn't you give it to him? This is what they're thinking. We have a big enough sample size of Rodney Terry as a head coach that even with his ties, he was an assistant for 10 years at the program, like LaMarcus Aldridge, Booby Gibson, like all like that whole PJ Tucker, like that whole class of guys from in the early 2000s. He was involved in getting them there. So he has the Texas ties. And when it comes open, when the job opens up, you never hear his name. And part of the reason you never hear his name is because when he was at Fresno State, when he was at UTEP, he didn't put together the resume that would make you say, okay, we got to get this guy at Texas. Now, you also have to add this season to that resume, right? And I think doing what he's done now has earned the opportunity to give it another year, right? And when I say give it another year, it's basically give the guy a 5-year deal with a buyout that is manageable, right? So that you don't have to worry about recruits saying, oh, he doesn't have the future, he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that, right? Make it so that it's a fairly cheap out if it doesn't work the way that you want it to work, or if like this is a blip and what he is as a coach is more what he was when he was at UTEP. But I think you have to give him a chance. I don't know how you don't. Especially,
I don't know how you don't.
Big 12. If he is the head coach and they win the Big 12 and he does not get the job, we're rioting, man. You coming with me, RC?
Oh, I've been on the bandwagon with it. I don't know what they're waiting on.
Moody Center, banging on the windows with a sign.
I'll say this to you guys. One thing that always bothered me with Texas fan base about all their sports, let's just say football, because they have so much money, there's this expectation there that it's like even with football, you hadn't been good in how many years? I mean, relevant. When we talk about relevant football, like, come on, man. Like, stop this. Even when you had Rick Barnes there, the tournament wasn't good enough. When did Texas become a blue blood? Like, what are we talking about here? Like seriously, that's all my knock. Listen, it's a great job. I get they got money. I get it. But you won a title when Vince Young, what Mac Brown was the coach there? Are you kidding me? And then now even basketball, making the tournament isn't good. When did Texas become this national championship Final
Texas
Four?
Won a regular season title. When was the last time? Do you know?
I can't even remember.
2008. It's been 15 years since they won a regular season title, and he's currently in first place in the toughest conference in college basketball. It's got a top 6. The team that's in tied for 4th place in the league standings right now, right, is the team that Greg put 5th in the national title race. Greg basically guaranteed that Baylor's winning a national title.
It's a good team, man. I trust that team. Look, to also just discuss Rodney Terry's previous stints as a head coach, like, I want to make sure we at least shed that, like, those weren't total dumpster fires either. Like, he took Fresno State from bad records, losing seasons 4 straight years before he got there. And his final 3 years there, they won 25, 20, 21 games. Then he goes to UTEP. His first year, they're 8-21. He follows that up with a winning season. Then COVID happens. He goes 500 in year 3. Like, who knows where that was trending, but both those stops, the year he ended his tenure there, they had a better record than where he started. So
no, look, he's a good basketball coach. The only thing that and again, I think that he should get the job. What I'm saying is what's the conversations that's happening with those administrators are, if he was not the interim, would he be in the mix? And if you put together a list, it would be like Bruce Pearl and John Calipari and Brad Underwood and all these other guys. And honestly, like, if Chris Del Conte is not already putting out feelers to those guys, he's not doing his job, right? Because you have to know. You can't have that be a public spectacle where those guys say no.
I would have concerns with all those guys when you're looking at it like now. Like, you sitting there talking about everybody. You got Kentucky ready to run Cal out of there, and you want to take that on. Like, what are you looking for? Like, like the guy has ties there. He has connections, and he's winning. He's won everywhere he's been. Yeah. Like, sometimes it's a matter of giving the opportunity. Like, that's the problem. That's my concern with Texas. It's like you just think because you have the money, yes, it's no guarantees. There ain't a better coach out there than Rick Barnes. Like, think about what we talked about. You ran off. Why am I sitting here at Marquette? Help me out.
Shaka.
I mean, we're sitting here talking about Shaka and being a sleeper for national. You ran Shaka out of there. So it's like, what are we talking? Like, who do you want? Just pick the coach. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, who's good enough to be there? He's earned it. Like, stop it, man. Like, I just think it's a joke. I just think it's a joke. Like, if he's offered something less than that, then it's lowballing him as what he's worth. Then just walk out and go somewhere else if you can. I think he's earned the right and shown he's a hell of a coach. If this was any other school, in my opinion, that had half a brain, they would have locked this guy up already. Like, what are we doing here? Seriously.
Yeah, I'm just clicking through team pages right now, but they're on pace for their most successful regular season since Rick Barnes's year in 2011. They went 28-8, and that's without a formal head coach right now, which is insanity. So
in the toughest conference in college basketball,
right?
Yes. Give him the job.
Historically tough job. So, all right, we can sit here and say give him the job, but RC, what does he actually do? Like, when's the moment come this year that he gets the job? Does he need to make a certain level of postseason run? Does he need to win the Big 12? And there's no doubt they couldn't give him the job. What do you think?
My point in all that is, again, you don't have a history of doing it anyway. So you're going to compare him to a history that you don't have? So you're going to say, hey, you got to have the greatest season in the history of our program, and then we'll give the job. Man, that's bullshit. Stop it.
It is bullshit.
If this was a blue blood and there's natties hanging in there, then you can say all this. What's the expectation of Texas? Make the tournament. That's it. You can't tell me there's no other expectation. Kansas ran the damn league for the last 15 years. What are we talking about here?
I love getting RC riled up.
Like, seriously,
let's keep asking him more questions.
It's the craziest thing in the world. I mean, it's just they got money. I get it.
But RC, what they do at the University of Texas and other sports is win national championships. Shouldn't that be the expectation in basketball too? They just
like it is in football. Like it is in football. When you fire a coach every 3 years because he can't even win the Big 12, and then you're about to go to the SEC and get your head smacked off.
Texas. Like, you can't let Baylor and Houston and Texas A&M, all these other have better coaches, right?
Hey,
I just want to know what the moment is. Like, is it if he gets a win tomorrow night against Kansas at Kansas, does he get a phone call an hour later that says
he should have been had the phone call? Is all I'm saying. What are we waiting on here? What does he got? He got to win at the Fog to get it now. He's got to run away with the He got to run away with the Big 12 title. Like, oh, seriously? Hold your football program to that standard. When are they going to get to the Final Four? The damn big football playoffs about to go to 12, and they still won't get in. What are you doing now with that?